to the grocery store, this homeless man gonna ask me if I had a couple dollars to spare. Baby, not in this economy. Shit is fucked up, the world is fucked up, you fucked up, I'm fucked up. Go get your ass a motherfucking job. Fuck out my face, Stanley.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
I have not looked at my 401k, but everyone is telling me to look at my 401k. And I'm scared to look at it mostly because there wasn't much in it before. There wasn't much in it before. What could it possibly be now? I just looked at it. I have a negative. I don't know if I'm supposed to share this on the internet. I have a negative 13.04% rate of return. Okay. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Friendly reminder, your car insurance is going to go up because of tariffs. Probably by a lot. Because mine just went up $92 a month. Who cares if I haven't been in a car accident since 2013 and it was the other driver's fault? Doesn't matter, because if I crash my car now, those parts are going to cost more. I don't want to do this anymore. I literally didn't vote for that guy. I hate everybody who did. Why'd you have to ruin all our lives?
Hi there. I've had a couple people say I need to get this out there, so that's what I'm going to do. The amount of shipments that are coming into the United States, some reports have dropped from 50 to 70%. That already means a recession is down the pike. Period. If you go a little broader, geopolitical and more macroeconomic terms, China has stood up and said that we are not going to stand up to the U.S. hegemony. And so, therefore, they're having the world stand up to the U.S. being the reserve currency. If the world says no to the dollar being the U.S. reserve currency, it won't be a recession anymore. Probably not even a depression. It will be the collapse of the United States.
This is not my normal content, but I have to speak on this because I am just tired. The politicians are looking at us like, you have to call, you have to make noise. And we're over here like, aren't you supposed to do that? Like, aren't you supposed to make something shake? Like, what's going on here? I am truly scared. I'm scared. Why is nobody doing anything? Is nobody else scared? Like, people just like go on about life like this shit is normal. I'm scared.
I'm like 1 to 5 news articles left from crashing out and just buying about 10 books and 2 Lego sets. I do not process things well as of late, and I end up buying things. Thank you.
Yeah, when people be saying that we should be saving, I really be trying to figure out where the money that we supposed to be saving, where that's supposed to be coming from. Because I be looking at my paycheck stub, and I be looking at my bills, and the math ain't mathing. So I'm really like confused on where this money that we supposed to be saving is supposed to be coming from. Because honestly, at this point, we're gonna have to be scheming. We're gonna have to be doing some type of side hustle, whether that be Amazon Flex, DoorDash, Spark. What else is it? At this point, we might have to do OnlyFans, because the way these bills and these expenses is, and this income, it just ain't, I just don't understand. I don't understand what we're going to do. So, if we're going to be saving, I need somebody to tell me where this money come from we saving from. Because I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Yeah, I don't know if y'all remember that sound that was real popular a little while ago, or it's probably about a year ago, and it say, when the water's so blue. At this point, the only blue water I'm gonna be seeing is the blue water in my toilet from where I put them dang blue capsules in the toilet. That's the only blue water I'm gonna be seeing. Because yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all. So yeah, I really hate that I even ever wanted to be grown. I should have stayed my ass in the child's place, because this right here is ghetto. Very much ghetto. All right. And that's all I wanted to say. I don't know what we're gonna do. Maybe somehow we'll get rich. I don't know how. But yeah. Something gonna have to give. All right.
So I have this neighbor who owns a manufacturing company where he manufactures private label goods, and he's about to travel to China and Vietnam to visit the factories. And so I asked him, hey, with all of these tariffs, are you considering moving any of your manufacturing back to the US? And that man laughed and he said, I keep trying to explain this to my conservative friends, but they could make those tariffs 400%, 500%, and it would still be cheaper for me to manufacture in Vietnam and China and Thailand than in the US. Because number one, manufacturing is not like some software company that you can build in your bedroom overnight. It is something that requires a ton of capital investment, and you have to build factories. We do not have factories in which to manufacture in the United States because we don't have a manufacturing economy. It would take years and millions of dollars for these companies to build factories so they could shift manufacturing to the US. And hey, guess what? There are 338,000 open construction jobs in the United States right now, so who is going to build up these factories? And while we're at it, there are currently 500,000 open manufacturing jobs that nobody wants to do. Because number one, those jobs don't pay the kind of wages that people in the United States want to earn to be able to afford the cost of living in this country. And two, people in the United States are being paid anywhere from like 5 to 10 times what people in countries like China and Vietnam and Thailand are being paid to do that work, which means that the cost of those goods would go up astronomically. These are countries that have invested heavily in building a manufacturing economy and in having a cost of living that aligns with that so that people are able to live off of the earnings that they have from doing this manufacturing work. In the US, we have a knowledge-based economy, an information economy, a digital economy, and so value is being created here in these more intangible ways, not through our ability to produce goods. In a lot of ways, the rest of the world has been subsidizing our relatively low cost of living in the United States because we're making a lot more money than people do anywhere else in the world, while we're still getting to take advantage of their cheap labor. LinkedIn had a great headline this week about how career pessimism is growing, and of course it is, because our government is creating the kind of jobs that nobody wants, jobs that are low paying and require a lot of physical, manual labor. And they're doing so while creating higher and higher levels of inflation and implementing these tariffs, which are regressive taxes on the poor, the same people who are going to be funneled towards these low-paying jobs, and simultaneously destroying our relationships with our strongest allies in ways that are going to take decades to repair. Right now, it does seem like hiring is holding up, but it seems like this can only last for so long if things continue to move in this direction.
So it seems like the biggest difference between the recession we've already had versus the recession/depression/whatever that we're going into is the cost of food. It used to be cheaper to eat out like every day. I remember my granddad sitting down and doing the calculations for how much it would cost him to eat at his local diner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day versus how much it would cost for him to actually buy those ingredients and eat at home. And he saved a lot of money by eating at the diner. And he did balloon up to 350 pounds as a 5'8" man, but you know, shit happens. And I was a single mom, and those like $5 Little Caesars pizzas, like that really got me through. Like, you know, you couldn't even then buy all the ingredients to make hamburgers for $5. But my kids were more than happy to eat pizza multiple times in a row. And like, that's several food groups, and I was never great at being a mom, and you know, they're still alive, so like I count that as a win. But yeah, like I don't know what we're gonna do, especially since we've dissolved like all of our social safety nets and like continue to dissolve things that like people rely on. And the cost of food like continuing to balloon, and like it's only gonna get worse, right? Because like everybody hates us. I don't know if you've noticed this, but like everybody fucking hates us, and like we get most of our stuff from other people, so I don't know, it seems fucky. I don't know what we're gonna do. Good luck out there.
There's something about living through a crisis that makes me want to save everything. Like as I'm scrolling through videos, I'm making a big point to save every video that's like talking about the empty ports or people who are talking about how they're prepping for food not being on the shelves. And not because I want to follow what they're doing. I simply want to just have it on my phone. I don't want to lose it. In case this app disappears, in case the video gets taken down. That's history. If you were in an AP history class, you know this to be fact. History is told through the people. It's not a whole bunch of MSNBC, CNN, BBC articles taped together and then copy pasted into a history book. No, they go into these people's lives. They read their diaries. They read their work logs, all of these things. And that's how they piece what happened together. And I remember before COVID, I started saving videos, and I still have a video of me. I was a teacher at the time talking to my students, and we were just sitting there being like, okay, yeah, we're going to go on spring break. We maybe get an extra week and we're going to be right back. And I didn't see those students again until after they graduated. And I have videos of when I taught online and just like having conversations with my students virtually and sharing stories with them and just nonsense conversations that weren't important, but just having that as history. Like, I lived through this. This was my life. And I do this because when I was a kid, I would read about all of these crazy historical moments, and I'm like, surely, like, that's so big. The only thing you could do as a person living through that time is to just live in that time, right? That's the only news you hear about. That's the only thing you think about, you talk about. And now, as a 30-year-old who has lived through several crises, that's not true. I get up, I go to work. It's a normal day. I come home, I make dinner. The world's falling apart. It's burning on my front door, and business stays as usual. So saving these videos is a reminder that things are not okay. Things are not normal. This is a crisis, and it helps me break my routine so that I don't just slip silently into the night. I know what is happening around me. How bizarre.
It is important to know what is happening in the world so that you can plan your next move. But at the end of the day, you cannot be worried about things that you cannot change. One of the life lessons that I have personally learned is that we should not waste time on things that we cannot change, on people that we cannot change. You only have a certain amount of time every single day, every single week, every single month. And you choose what to spend it on and what to worry about. You cannot change what is happening in the whole world. You do not have the power to do so. So what you can change is what you personally do, how you personally prepare for what is happening right now and what is to come later. That is all that you can do. So I would strongly urge you to just focus on the things that you have control over. Just focus on those things. There is signal and there is noise. Everything out there is noise. The news, the this, the that, everything's falling apart. That's all noise. The signal comes from you. It comes from your personal good choices that you make. The things that you personally can control about your life and how to improve it. Focus on the signal, not the noise. The noise will always be there, but the signal is the key. A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
I just tried to make a video, but it deleted because TikTok, I guess, was like, your phone's full. We're not even going to save any of this. 10 minutes worth of footage. Anyway, MSNBC was talking about how people are about to get taxed. Like, me and you are going to get taxed at a higher level now. And I said, dang, that's exactly what it is. Like, I know that tariffs are taxes, but they're taxes in like a different way. You know what I'm saying? It's going to come in our daily lives. And we've always known that it was supposed to, like, we see it as a sales tax, but the starkness of it was like, dang, we really are about to be paying more money for the same goods, all because Trump is prideful and greedy. And Stephen Miller just kind of brushed off that statement, I guess, where a reporter asked about, like, these Republican commerce people were saying, hey, please offset this for the small businesses. Like, please give them tariff free, because we're going to have to pass that tariff off to them, to our consumers, to our customers, to our clients. And that's the tax that everybody's going to feel. And he was like, oh, it's okay. I guess he stated, like, oh, it's whatever, because that's going to be offset by the tax cuts. And who's the tax cuts going to? Oh, you guessed it, the rich. Not me and you. Not the people who make less than $1 million, who aren't, making six figures. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel so disappointed. I feel so sad and so hurt that we have to suffer because, one, people voted for this anyway. Two, we know they stole this too, right? So we're dealing with it in like two different ways, that people actually voted for this, and then there's people whose votes just didn't even go to the right person who should have been in the office right now. And that they're doing it at all. I can see if we were cheated and they were doing the decent things for the American people. They're not even doing that. So I just feel so wronged because we don't have to be in this situation. Kamala should be right there. Sorry, I was reading the text message, but I was like, Kamala should be right there in office, and we would not be going through this. Even if they had said, hey, we're going to bump your taxes up by 1%, I'm sure people would be like, why? But they already said that they was going to make the other folks, the rich people, pay more because Trump had brought it down for them. And they know they can pay more. It's like, I feel like if I were rich, I would want to give to people. It wouldn't be nothing. There's been so many rich people who have said, like, I'm willing to, even not rich people, even me, I am willing to pay a little bit more in tax for people like me who use SNAP benefits, who now has Medicare, to be able to sustain a basic life. I'm willing to do that for people because I care about them. And I don't want people on the street sleeping on the ground or sleeping in their cars and stuff like that. So it really blows and boggles the mind that they could be so evil and then try to gaslight us and say, well, there's going to be tax cuts. For who? For them. For you. And so, anyway, I just wanted to come here and say that we're going to be the ones that have to deal with this. And the things that we should do is have community, support businesses that are local, specifically Black owned, specifically women owned, but also, or people of color as well, and make sure that they're a part of the blue team, that they voted for Kamala, that they would have voted for Kamala. You see what I'm saying? Because some people couldn't vote. Whether it was because they were like, look, I'm checked out, I gotta work, or I believe in this stuff, but I can't even vote, you know what I'm saying, because I gotta go to work, or I just didn't feel like going, or my vote doesn't count, or you know, because they're a felon, or whatever reasons. Vet people, vet these businesses, because we want the red team to see that what y'all have done, this is the cost. This is the cost. And so, anyway, plant seeds in the ground, literal seeds. Plant seeds that invest in other people. If you have money, because some people are going to still be good. Their money's going to be tighter. Their savings might dwindle a little bit. But we're also going to be saving money because we ain't going to be spending money. You see what I'm saying? So, analysts are already saying there's going to be slower growth in America and more high in unemployment. So what does that sound like? Stagflation. So it's going to be looking probably like the 1970s. And I don't like that. I don't want that. And they're saying, recession might be a little bit more pessimistic, but, because we're still at a strong point. And I'm like, we're getting weaker and weaker by the day because Trump keeps doubling down. And all he got to do is say, like, hey, we like the person said on the news, they was like, you can basically say, oh, everything's fine, we won this race, and it not be true, and we would be like, okay, fine, we're just glad it's over with. Like, we can forget about all that and just live again, because this is so unnecessary. Like, we didn't have to be here, dude. I was about to say dude, I was about to say dog, but we didn't have to be in this position. But here we are. All because of an egomaniac. We are all about to suffer paying more money for the same thing. And within literally, he wants to blame Biden for it. Biden didn't do this to us, and we know it. And I hate it that people complain so hard about Biden. I said, I know inflation's high, but this ain't Biden's problem. He didn't make inflation, and he didn't make this problem show up. This was already getting started by the time Trump left the office. It was happening during the COVID-19 pandemic. He got a good economy. Him and the Republicans overspent. They spent trillions of dollars. And then they ended up giving all these stimulus checks away, which was fine because we needed to get this economy stimulated again. We didn't blame them for that. But they gave these PPP loans, but then dismissed them. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, okay, well, but it didn't go to the right people. That's the problem with the PPP loans. I didn't have a problem with the PPP loans. The problem was, and I didn't have a problem with people getting them dismissed necessarily. The thing I had a problem with was, because at first we thought we were going to be paying interest on them or not. It was going to be low interest or no interest at all. But the problem with the PPP loans is that it got to go to people who weren't even in America and who weren't in business. These are people who just were like, you know what? I'm going to act like I have a business. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to get me some PPP loan. They scammed the system. And some people had to pay for it. And some people didn't get caught. Or some people haven't yet paid for it. And they probably will never do anything about it if Trump is in office. The Biden administration actually was like, you know what, we're going to hold people accountable. And I'm glad they did, because I didn't get it. And I had an LLC. And I had a business. And I still have one. And so to be able to be in this position and see that this is all made up and man-made by Trump and the Republican, the Project 25ers, it's all their faults. And that's who should be getting the blame every single day about it. We cannot let up. Not let up. And we will not let up. Keep holding their feet to the fire and hold them to account for what they're doing. They're going to keep gaslighting us and saying it wasn't a big deal. Things are going to be great. It's going to be a little pain. They were trying to prepare the pain part so we could just deal with it. And that's the same thing that the MAGA Knights are actually repeating. And they're like, it's going to be a little pain for a little while, and then we're going to get to this place. No, you're not. You're not going to be good until a Democrat gets back in. And they have to be a worthy one. Because we're not going to just vote anybody in. We're not going to vote in a crooked Democrat. We're going to put somebody in there with some sense, and I pray that it's Kamala. I pray that she runs again. I pray that she gets it in there. I pray that she even stop Trump's term and get in there, because we know what really happened. And that's all I got to say.
So the economy is crashing. I'm a little tired of this, I'm not gonna lie. I would love this to stop happening. Could this stop happening like at any point in time now? Like, how are we just supposed to be at work right now? Like, what are we doing? How are we supposed to be doing this? Has anyone, do you have some good tips? Because, like, what are we doing?
At this point, we are really all set up for failure. We have things like insurance and healthcare plans and da-da-da to keep us sane when things go wrong, right? Okay, so boom. And what comes with insurance is a fucking deductible. Great. Okay, so my power's been out for 30 hours because Consumers Energy has been sticking their thumb up their ass and twiddling their fingers. Yesterday it went out at 2:11. Estimated time of getting shit back in order was 9:30 p.m. Bet. Long time? I can deal with it. 9:30 p.m. comes. Next estimated time is 3:45 in the morning. Great. I'll go to sleep and wake up till lights on. Okay. It's 2 p.m. now. Next day. Estimated time is 5 p.m. And with the history, I'm assuming it's not going to be done by then, right? So $300 worth of groceries in my fridge are going to be unedible. Great. Hazardous. Great. So I'm like, are they going to reimburse me? Is there what's going on? Okay, so I go on the Consumers Energy website, and it says if you have problems with food or whatever, to contact your renter's or home insurance agency. But you know what comes with insurance? A deductible. I'm over here tripping about $300 worth of groceries, right? So boom, I go to my insurance, go to make a claim, $500 deductible. So you're gonna put me $800 in the hole for $300 worth of groceries? Okay. We are set up to be slaves. We are set up to be uneducated. And we are set up for failure. I give up. I give the fuck up. I make just over the limit to get food stamps, right? So I get nothing. But if I were to get fired from my job and have another baby, I would get fully approved. Weird. They want you to have to rely on them, because then they can control you. The school systems. The books are all rigged. The history they teach us is the history they want us to believe. But they're not going to teach us about financial freedom. They're not going to teach us about tax brackets. They're not going to teach us about really knowing how to balance your life, your checkbook, manage work and home and school. They don't teach you that. They go by the book on what they want you to know. And then once you turn 18, you're on your own. Get back into school or get right into work. To what? Be a slave for the rest of your life. You know the current age most Americans are living until? It's below the retirement age. Most Americans aren't even making it to retirement because we've spent our entire lives. I started working when I was 14. I've been working 11 years. They poison the food. They rig the system. Why do you think a salad's $5 and a burger is $1? And those were before inflation prices. They want to keep us slaves, whether that be through the body, the mind, the food, the money. And we're complacent and compliant because that's all we know, right? That's what our history says. I'm tired. I am so tired. And hey, 18-year-old, here's $40,000 in student loans. Get back to us when you can. And as soon as you're in the height of your career, right? Maybe even just started. Actually, we're going to need that back. And we're taking away payment plans. And if you don't decide to pay what we tell you you're going to pay, we're going to take all your money. Let me tell you one thing. What profession do you think the highest student loan rates are? Healthcare. So what happens when we're paying more than we're making for the job that we have? You leave the job. You can't afford it. If you're not making anything, what are they going to take? So what happens when our hospitals are empty? People really need to wake up. People really need to wake up. We are headed down a terrible, terrible path. And if you're not in the 1%, we're fucked. Wholeheartedly, I think we're fucked. But guess what? We still gotta get up and go to work tomorrow. We were made for more than this. We were created for more than complacent slavery. To the government. To people who look like you and I. But they withhold a title. I'm stressed out, y'all. I didn't even mean to get that deep, but it's just like, does no one see what the fuck is going on? And most people do, and they're like, well, what do we do? What can we do? How about we do nothing? How about we do nothing? Have you ever heard of a strike? Have you ever heard of the revolution? Okay. I'm not going to lead the march, but I sure as hell will join it. I'm tired.
I think that there will be a lot more strikes in the next few years, only because people have had it here with just struggling. How long is too long to struggle? 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, 4 years. How about that? If you are financially drowning for 4 years, you have very few options to get yourself out of that state. Increase your income, reduce your expenses, live with other people as well. But honestly though, I am shocked that there aren't a lot of strikes yet. Like, how much can people really endure until they've hit their breaking point, pretty much? How much can you endure? A lot of people are tired. Video after video, it is truly apparent that people are going through a lot right now. People are extremely tired. So there aren't a lot of strikes going on, and I don't really understand why. I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.